What is up, plant community? So it's getting warm enough now. I can bring out the majority of the plants. Not everything is brought out. I have most of my ficus collection outside, as you can see, but I now have my fiddly fig outside. So today's project is basically how to thicken up your trunk of your weeping fig. Especially if you're starting it as a young tree like I have here. Um, Now, he's much older now, but back in the day he was a younger tree. So, I'm going to teach you about thickening up your trunk for your ficus, especially if you want a higher canopy. This also works for bonsai techniques. So, we have my nice little fig here, weeping fig, not little. So, when we look at the real structure of the tree, we get in here. So we notice here that it's, if I can get the leaves out of the way, but we notice it's thick. And we continue to go up, it's thick. And then here, right in between here, it starts getting skinnier. Now, but down at the base, it's real nice and thick. Now I'm going to teach you why it's so much thicker down here than it is up here. Because all these separate branches ain't really dying back like they're supposed to be. Now, this would happen more on a deciduous tree, but on a ficus, nah. A ficus, it's going to find a way, and it's going to continue to find a way. So, what do we do to really thicken up the trunk of your ficus? So, here we can see a pruning scar. Get the leaf out of the way. We can see a pruning scar where I last pruned, and that really thickened up the base. So I'm going to do the same thing here, get my shears, and we're going to thicken up this trunk. Now you can start new cuttings from your tree. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm really wanting a higher trunk, but I'm wanting a thicker trunk. So what I'm going to do, get you in here, try to get you in here. Okay. I'm going to come in here with the pruners. I'm just going to come in here and that's off. We have a whole new branch right here, a whole new tree. We'll let that drop. So there, that really adds height to the trunk here. I might even come in, clean it up a bit more. There we go. That's looking better. There. Now what'll happen is just like this scar here, that will thicken up here. And what'll happen is as the trunk thickens, that will scar over. So now we're left with this. Do we want this to be cut off? You know what? Yeah, maybe I do want to cut it off. Maybe again I want a higher trunk because we got this branch weeping and we have this branch really weeping down. If I want a natural look and a lot of aerial roots, which I can get if I missed it or whenever the humidity hits it, I can get that. But right now, we really want to help this guy out. So that way we can have a good looking healthy tree. So, we'll go ahead and take that one out too. Now, does this hurt the tree? Yes and no. In a way it doesn't, because naturally in the wild, whenever these trees get so big and they have bottom branches like that anyways, half of them are guaranteed to break off. And when they break off, that whole trunk line is basically gonna die back completely down to the main trunk. We could see it happened right here. I had a long shoot, It broke due to some strong winds and a storm. It died all the way back, produced a new branch. So we're basically doing what nature is doing, but we're doing it in our own way. Um, in a way, I think this helps tree. It helps thicken it up if you're doing like me, taking it outside every year and you're trying to thicken this up. And not only that, if you really want a higher trunk structure, you don't want these separate branches, because I'll show you what will happen to those separate branches. Those separate branches will wind up turning into trunks them own selves. So when they get this far, they're already their own separate trunk. So that's where all the mass and vigor goes into whenever you're really trying to get a taller and more sturdier trunk on your tree, as it winds up producing another trunk. So it's, in a way, it's important, if you want a thicker trunk at the base, to go ahead and clip those other branches off, because if not, what will happen is all the vigor down here will go straight to that tree and produce another trunk, well, to that branch. So it's important to trim that off, because ficus trees are more different than deciduous trees, because they will just continue to produce another trunk, because that's what they do in the wild, and they drop off aerial roots, and those aerial roots turn into other trunks, and that there makes it its own separate tree. So if we want, we'll come in and we'll prune this, and that's gone. Clean it up a bit, and we'll let that bleed, and when it bleeds, it'll just kind of callus over, and since it's outside, it'll be just fine with this. So here you can see where it's real thick at the bottom, and it starts getting skinny up here. Now, I'll let this branch kind of thicken up, because, hey, when it thickens up, I can make a bonsai out of it, and probably sell it, to be honest. Make a little bit of money, because why not? So we'll let that thicken up, and we'll see what happens. It should thicken up, especially since it's outside, taking a lot of direct sun, which is healthy for your trees. Depending on the species, if they're understories or not, ficuses are not really understory trees. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of a way on how to thicken up your trunk, give it more height on your weeping fig. And so now the vigor should go up a little bit more. If I find that this part really isn't thickening up, I'll go ahead and chop this branch off too, give it a little bit more height. That's all I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, give me a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my videos and you enjoy my content.